Hello guys, welcome back to the channel and to another video where today it's time for my 2024-25 Northern Premier League West Division predictions. In 22nd we have Vauxhall Motors. The Motormen had an impressive first season back in the Northern Premier League last season, finishing comfortably in 16th, 12 points above the drop. However, I don't think they'll be as fortunate this time around, and I can see them being relegated back down to Step 5. In 21st, it's Hanley Town. Hanley Town have flattered to deceive since their promotion to the Northern Premier League West in 21-22 with 16th and 13th place finishes. The addition of veteran striker Tom Pope from Witton Albion is a smart signing, but will his goals be enough to keep Hanley in the division? Personally, I don't think so, but time will tell. In 20th is Newcastle Town. I've predicted Newcastle Town to struggle in each of their last two seasons, and while they've hardly pulled up any trees, they've been comfortably lower mid-table. With the strength of the league this season, however, and the potential for 4 teams to be relegated, I think Newcastle will spend the majority of the season looking over their shoulders, and I can see them slipping into the bottom 4 late on. 19th place is Trafford. A team that's usually in the running for playoffs, Trafford really struggled last season, and if it wasn't for Carl Marginson coming in to steady the ship, they would have likely been relegated. If their budget is as small as it was last time out, I can see them finding it difficult to attract the right names and struggling to compete. 18th place is Witton Albion. I don't want to be too dramatic, but Witton Albion have just sacked their manager John Mackin just over a week before the start of the season, and currently have just 16 players signed on for the new campaign. They've also just lost 6-1 at home to 1874 Northwich in a pre-season friendly. While you can't read too much into it, it's far from a good omen considering 1874 were relegated last season with just 18 points. I think Albion could potentially be on the verge of a catastrophic season, but crucially, I think they'll do just enough to survive the drop. In 17th, we have Wythenshawe Town. A difficult team to judge as one of the 3 promoted and 2 Wythenshawe teams in the league this season. It's rare that teams coming up from Step 5 go straight back down, but I don't think it'll be the easiest season for Wythenshawe Town, but crucially, I think they'll just about avoid relegation. In 16th, we have Congleton. Another one that's difficult to judge. The Bears tore apart in the Midland Premier Division last season. However, as we know, Step 4 is a big step up in quality, so this season will likely be a tough test for Congleton. Survival will be the main aim, and I think that's what they'll achieve. 15th place is Kidsgrove Athletic. Kidsgrove were a bizarre case last season. After winning their first 7 games, they completely fell off a cliff and were in real danger of relegation by the end of the campaign. I don't think things will be that dramatic this season for Kidsgrove. However, I think last season's turmoil will have taken its toll and a season of consolidation is on the cards. In 14th, we have Atherton Collieries. Atherton had been struggling in the Northern Premier League Premier Division for a number of years before they were eventually relegated last season. They'll want to bounce straight back up, but I don't think things will be that simple. We've seen countless examples of teams dropping down into this league and struggling, and I think it'll be the same story for Coles this campaign. In 13th, we have Nantwich Town. The Dabbers finished last season in 10th, and honestly, nothing has convinced me they'll do much better this time around. A solid mid-table finish for me. 12th spot, we've got Mosley. I got a lot of stick for my Mosley prediction last season after I said they'd finish 11th. They ended up finishing 15th, so if anything, I think I overestimated them. I've seen a few people tip the Lilywhites to bounce back this season with a playoff finish, but I just can't see it myself. Still though, I think there'll be some improvement from last season, so 12th seems about right. In 11th, we have Widnes. Widnes really impressed me last time out, pushing all the way to the last few weeks of the season to try and get a playoff spot. While they've impressed in pre-season though, I think the league is far too competitive to see them realistically mount another playoff charge. In 10th, we have Chasetown. I've heard a few people tip Chasetown for a strong showing this season, and keeping hold of club legend Jack Langston will be important for the Scholars, but personally, I don't see them pushing any higher than mid-table. In 9th, we have Stafford Rangers. As I mentioned in my Atherton prediction earlier, we've seen countless teams come down from the Northern Premier League Premier Division and struggle. Stalybridge Celtic and Nantwich Town both found themselves in mid-table last season, with Witton Albion failing to bounce straight back up the season before last, and I think it'll be a similar story for Stafford Rangers. They've had a wretched pre-season, and from what I can see online, their fans aren't optimistic for the season ahead. 9th place for me. In 8th, we've got Runcorn Linnets. This one might come as a shock, but I really think Runcorn Linnets will struggle this season in comparison to seasons gone by. Losing out in the playoffs 2 seasons in a row will surely knock the confidence of fear in their dressing room, and handing the managerial job to a relative novice in the form of Anthony Kay, who was part of that playoff heartbreak as a player last season for Linnets, just doesn't sit right with me. With all that in mind, I think Linnets could be in for a tough time of it this year. In 7th, it's City of Liverpool. Similar to Runcorn Linnets, losing in the playoff final will be a huge blow for the Cole squad, which could go one of 2 ways. But couple it with the upheaval surrounding the ground sharing agreement, and I think the Perps are set for a disappointing campaign relative to last time out. In 6th, we have Stalybridge Celtic. Stalybridge Celtic had a great start to the season last time out, seemingly occupying a spot in the playoffs for virtually the entire campaign until they fell away out of nowhere and ended the season in 12th. I could see them carrying that end of season form into the start of the new campaign, however, I think they have enough talent in their squad to mount some level of a playoff charge. In 5th place, we've got Bootle. Bootle were another team that really impressed me last season after they managed to get into the playoffs, and I wouldn't be surprised if they went and did the same again this season. All the foundations are there. They've got a good manager in Mick McGrath, boasts a strong squad and are backed well, both in the boardroom and on the terraces. I think they've got enough to go again and take the first playoff spot in 5th. In 4th place, we've got Avro. Probably the surprise package of last season, Avro were really unlucky in the end not to reach the playoffs in their first ever season at Step 4. The signings they've made during pre-season, including veteran centre forward Mike Phoenix, suggest this isn't just going to be a flash in the pan though, and they intend to push on even further this campaign. I'm backing them to do really well again and secure a spot in the playoffs. In 3rd, we've got Wythenshawe FC. Momentum is something that cannot be underestimated in football, and Wythenshawe FC have it in droves. After securing back-to-back promotions last season, I suspect the Ammies will look to carry that form into their first ever season in the Northern Premier League, with a playoff finish well within the realms of possibility. It's no secret that they're well backed financially, with entrepreneur/politician Sacha Lord heading up the board, meaning they'll likely have no issue recruiting the right names to see them secure a spot at the top end of the league come the end of April. In 2nd, we have Hednesford Town. A lot of people will probably scoff at this prediction, considering Hednesford Town finished last season in 19th and were only spared from relegation thanks to a reprieve. But just hear me out. I don't think they're messing around this time. As of January this year, they have new owners who clearly aren't afraid to put money into the club, and that shows with their recruitment this summer. They've appointed Steve King as manager, who is the most successful manager in Conference South history and the only manager in history to reach the playoffs in both the Conference North and Conference South. Add King's managerial pedigree to the raft of smart signings, including experienced former professionals like Jake Jervis, Dominic McHale and Omar Holness, as well as last season's top scorer and player of the season Rob Stevenson, signed from Leek Town, and the Pitmen have all the tools necessary for an unbelievable season. As I've predicted, I think that whoever finishes above Hednesford Town this season will win the league. But I think, crucially, one team is going to pip them to the title. And as you've probably guessed, I've done it again. In 1st place, we have Clitheroe. I know, I can't help myself. I know that I'm biased with this prediction, but can you blame me? I know they've been dead rubbers in pre-season friendlies, but the football we've played under Jimmy Bell since he took over in April has been some of the best I've ever seen as a Clitheroe fan. We've also signed some top experienced talent in the form of Miles Story, Harry Brockbank and Accrington Stanley legend Sean McConville, as well as some bright young attacking prospects, namely Sajjad El Hassan and Javon Splatt. Retaining the bulk of last season's squad, with key players like Hakan Burton, Cameron Lancaster, Jacob Hansen, Richie Baker, Ross Dent and Danny Wilkins all signed on for next season, amongst others, along with Louis Potts and Veron Pani being tied down to contracts, gives us a strong blend of youth, experience and most importantly, cohesion within the squad that we sorely lacked in seasons gone by. Jimmy Bell has stated numerous times in interviews with the club that he's coming in to win the league. And given his experience guiding Accrington Stanley through the leagues alongside John Coleman, I believe he can do the same with us and get us that promotion to the Northern Premier League Premier Division we as fans so desperately crave. So guys, there you have it. Those were my predictions for the 2024-25 Northern Premier League West Division. What do you think of my predictions and where do you think your team will finish this season? Let me know down in the comments below. And while you're down there, if you have enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and of course subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on so you never miss an upload. Thank you so much for watching today's video and I'll see you in the next one.